All right, guys, we're going to take a little bit closer look at some of our defensive shape issues from the game against Brooklyn Knights. Obviously, clean sheet, a 4-0 win, something to be excited about, but there's some details defensively that we need to clean up. So we'll go back through what was presented earlier. So just a reminder, here was the shape that we played from. Good chance we'll use this shape again on the weekend. We asked one of our strikers to come back in and create that 5-4-1. So again, trying to force the game out into these wide pockets so we can press and trap them there. And then our 9 is able to come back in and help out with the holding mid. So again, I think, our big focus was we're really worried about their holding midfield players getting on the ball and dictating it. But that led to us being a little bit more disjointed with our defensive shape. So first I want to start with a good example. So somewhat better shape. So you can see the ball's on our left side. Cole shifted out. We'd want Abdi to be a little bit higher, probably 3 or 4 steps higher, and we'd want Scotty to his left just a little bit more to close the gap between him and Abide. But it's a pretty good view. As you can see, Derek's available to come back and pinch on the 6. So like I said, guys, this is a pretty good example of what we were trying to create. Now looking at it a little bit differently, this is obviously an example of where our shape needs to be improved upon. So again, we allow the ball into that central space, that space that we're trying to deny. If Abai and Cole are dropped back in, we're able to squeeze that ball out and not let it get into their dangerous player who's in between our back line and our midfield line. So if you can find him there, he's just sitting there over by the Augsburg A in the middle of the space. So compare to that and then to that. So obviously not ideal, and it made it really tough for us to get back in and do the defending piece. We had to rush really hard. So the next piece is we want to give us some video examples of some areas of improvement. And this one, and as we let it go, we squeeze the ball to the sideline, but then we also let him out of the space. And now they're in the middle, and then they can play. I know we win the ball, but again, this is the space that we're really trying to kill. So what we're asking for is from Luke and Abdi to be a little bit more aggressive. Luke can step forward and really squeeze that ball and not let it. He can get tighter, he drops off, and it creates that little bit of gap for them to come through. And then another example of stuff we can look at is now, we were able to make or force them to be a little bit more direct. They really couldn't find spaces in between us early on. And then just reading the cue. So obviously their backline players preparing for a bigger ball, and only Scotty reads the cue. And the issue with this is now that frees up that space for the second ball. So watch again. Center back gives us all that cue that he's going to play long. Scotty drops, but the rest of the midfield line stays. And again, I am not concerned with their players receiving the ball in front of us there. We do not want them to receive the ball in between our lines. And in this case, that second ball gets picked up, and that guy can be dangerous going forward as we're rushing back. We don't want to be rushing back towards our goal to defend. And the last piece is always a positive one. So this is our first goal, and it starts from good defending. So we're really denying the ball, inside. Luke presses back in with West, squeezes it, and then from there we're able to win the ball. West makes a good choice of circulating out of the space we won. And the rest of it is we're patient. We build, we shift the point. I think almost all 11 players are getting a touch on the ball. And this is what we can replicate more often. When we tried to force the game got chaotic and stretched, and we weren't able to deal with some of their play. But when we do this, and we're able to travel together as a team, and we're able to progress as a team, 1, it's fun and we score good goals, but 2, it's much easier to defend when we do turn it over. So Scotty hooks Luke up with a quality ball. Luke makes the extra pass. And there we go. So hopefully we got some good ideas on our defensive shape. Like I said, we'll probably use something similar again on the weekend.